You are stranded in the middle of the Arctic tundra with zero shelter, sub-zero wind chills, and less than 4 hours of daylight. If your core body temperature drops by just 4 degrees, your brain function deteriorates and your organs begin to shut down. To survive the next 7 days, every single decision you make isn't just a choice. It's a cold calculation between extreme caloric expenditure and fatal hypothermia. One wrong move and the environment wins. This is how you survive. Day 1. Your first instinct is to build a campfire, but out here that's a deadly trap. Strong tundra winds will strip away thermal heat faster than a fire can produce it, wasting precious energy you don't have. Your top priority is insulation. Instead of pitching a tent, which offers zero thermal retention against 60-mile-per-hour winds, you must dig downward into the snowpack to construct a snow cave. Notice the physics here. Snow isn't just cold water, it's 90% trapped air. By packing a dense snow ceiling and carving an entry tunnel below your sleeping floor, you create a natural cold trap. Heavy cold air sinks into the lower trench, while your body heat gets trapped in the upper sleeping shelf. Even if the outside temperature hits -30, the inside of your snow cave stays at a stable 30 degrees Fahrenheit. To reinforce this structure, you use a technique called deadman anchoring. You bury equipment or heavy wooden stakes horizontally deep into the snow, packing it down firmly. As the snow refreezes around these anchors, it locks your shelter in place, preventing the fierce Arctic winds from tearing your camp apart while you sleep. But here is the catch. Sweat is your absolute worst enemy. As you shovel hundreds of pounds of snow, your body generates heat. If you sweat through your base thermal layer, that moisture gets trapped. The moment you stop moving, that water turns to ice against your skin, accelerating heat loss by 25 times. You have to pace your digging to stay cold enough not to sweat, but warm enough not to freeze. To make matters worse, an evacuation plane flies overhead once every 24 hours. You hold a single emergency flare, fire it, and you get pulled out immediately, but your mission ends in failure. You pocket the flare and crawl into the dark snow trench for night 1. Day 2. Morning arrives with a sharp, piercing wind. Your immediate challenge is securing a clean water source. Out here, dehydrating accelerates hypothermia, as your body needs water to efficiently regulate blood flow and generate core heat. However, you cannot eat raw snow directly. Eating snow forces your body to expend valuable thermal energy just to melt the ice inside your stomach, causing your internal core temperature to plunge rapidly and triggering early-stage hypothermia. You must melt snow using a localized heat source before consuming it. You construct a small, sheltered melting station using your metal mess kit and a micro stove. You pack snow tightly into the container, but you make a critical mechanical error. Adding dry snow directly to a hot container causes the bottom layer to scorch, giving the water a bitter, burnt taste and burning through fuel inefficiently. The correct scientific approach is to seed the container with a small amount of liquid water first, creating a slush base that transfers heat evenly throughout the newly added snow. Day 3. You wake up shivering violently. That shiver is an involuntary muscle contraction, your body's emergency mechanism to generate kinetic heat. But shivering consumes massive energy. You are currently burning nearly 5,000 calories a day just staying alive, and your stored glycogen is completely empty. Look at your feet. Blood flow to your extremities has been restricted by your brain to keep your core organs warm. Your big toe has turned pale white and lost all sensation. This is frost nip, the final warning before full tissue death sets in. You have to press your freezing feet directly under a partner's armpit or against warm skin to force blood flow back into the capillaries before permanent damage occurs. To survive the remaining 4 days, you need high-fat calories. Your only option is ice fishing. You haul a manual ice auger across a frozen lake, but you hit a massive engineering roadblock. The lake ice is over 3 feet thick, your auger blade isn't long enough, and manual drilling drains what little energy you have left. You must adapt immediately. You use a drone to map the surrounding terrain, searching for a bend in a nearby river. Why a river? Moving water under an ice sheet creates constant friction, keeping the ice layer significantly thinner than on a stagnant lake. Day 4. The physical toll of the environment begins to breach your mental resilience. Extended isolation combined with severe caloric deprivation triggers a massive spike in cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. This mental fog impairs your executive decision-making, making simple tasks like tying a knot or securing gear feel nearly impossible. Recognizing this mental degradation, you implement a strict survival routine. You break every hour into regimented micro-tasks, 10 minutes of shelter maintenance, 10 minutes of gear inspection, and mandatory rest intervals. By structuring your day around predictable goals, you suppress panic and force your brain to maintain logical focus. To improve your sleeping conditions, you gather pine boughs from nearby hardy vegetation. Laying these branches in a thick lattice pattern beneath your sleeping bag creates an elevated air barrier, separating your body from the freezing ground and halting conductive heat loss. Day 5. A severe Arctic blizzard hits. The storm cancels all rescue flights, meaning even if you wanted to fire your flare, no plane can reach you. You are completely on your own. Worse, your water supply is gone again, and your stove fuel has run out. You need fire to melt ice. Because the blizzard has soaked all available wood, you have to hunt for standing dead spruce trees. By stripping the wet outer bark, you access the bone-dry inner heartwood. You scrape the wood into fine feather sticks, catch a spark from a ferro rod, and secure a flame inside a shielded snow pit. Now, you return to the river ice hole you scouted earlier. You drop a line into the black water. Hours pass in total silence as the temperature plunges to -40. Then, a strike. As you reel the fish up through the 8-inch ice hole, the fish turns sideways. The line snaps. In a fraction of a second, the fish lodges in the slush right at the edge of the hole. You face an instant tactical decision. If you plunge your bare hand into sub-zero slush to grab it, you risk a cold shock response that can instantly paralyze your fingers. But if you let it slip away, you starve. You reach in, lock your grip around the gills, and yank a 4-pound Arctic char onto the snow. Day 6. You cook the fish over the fire. Arctic fish meat is dense in omega fatty acids and essential protein. As you consume it, your body undergoes diet-induced thermogenesis. Your digestive system acts like an internal furnace, spiking your core temperature and giving you the metabolic energy needed to survive your final night in the snow cave. You take extra precautions to seal the entrance of your snow cave using packed snow blocks, leaving only a tiny ventilation hole near the top. This small aperture is vital. Without proper airflow, carbon monoxide from your breath and small candles can build up inside an airtight snow chamber, leading to silent asphyxiation. Day 7. The sun breaks over the horizon. The storm clears. In deep powder snow, motorized transport fails, and helicopters consume too much fuel in extreme density altitude conditions. Your extraction arrives in the most reliable form of Arctic transport known to history, a working sled dog team. Over 7 days, you burned over 30,000 calories, survived -40-degree temperatures, and successfully engineered a shelter out of pure ice. That is the science, the physics, and the sheer human willpower required to survive 7 days stranded in the Arctic. Subscribe to VUO Explains for more crazy survival videos.